All about BI. In this video, I'm going to take you through one of the frequent questions that I have been getting from my subscribers regarding access to self-hosted integration runtime from Azure Data Factory. Okay, so there has been lot of discussions and confusions around this. So I just wanted to touch upon the same in this video. So while you set up the link service from Azure Data Factory to connect to the self-hosted integration runtime or your desktop or PC from where you want to transfer files, right? You will frequently encounter this issue, which is nothing but the value of the property empty string is invalid. Okay, this is one common error that we come across when we try to connect to an on-prem server. Okay, for downloading files or copying data from a SQL server, or it can be anything with respect to on-prem servers I'm talking about. Okay, so what do we have to do about it, or how do we fix it? That is what I'm going to tell you in this session. So connecting to on-prem server is a three-step process. All right, so one is installing self-hosted integration runtime using the key that can be found in Azure Data Factory Manage tab. When you're trying to create a integration runtime of type self-hosted, then you will be getting a key with which you will be downloading an integration runtime exe, and you will be entering this key. So this is step one, which is a very straightforward step. Almost all of you would be knowing by now. Second is making the folder as a shared folder. Okay, from your desktop or laptop or server, if you want to share access any file from Azure Data Factory, you will have to make the folder as shared folder. I think we'll not have to touch upon this as well. So the third thing is to give access, local access to the desktop or the server which we are trying to connect from Data Factory environment. Okay, how do we do this, or why we should be doing this? This is the mandatory step that we have to do if we want to access the files or folders properly from Data Factory. And how do we do it? It is a very simple command that I'm giving here, right? So in the same link that I've shown you, this is Microsoft Q&A site where people used to ask questions, technical questions related to Microsoft products, and we get answers from expert volunteers as well as Microsoft FTEs. So if you go through the accepted answers, right, it is a very simple PowerShell script that we have to run. We have to execute on a PowerShell command prompt. So I'm just going to take you through this step now, which will be helping you to resolve any issue with respect to self-hosted integration runtime, especially this property, this issue. Okay. So how do we do that? Now I will just go down a little bit, or maybe I can take it from here. So the first thing is I have to open PowerShell script. Okay, just type PowerShell from your desktop or laptop. So once you click PowerShell, right, you will be seeing Windows PowerShell. Just right click, make sure you're running it as an administrator. This is a mandatory step for us to run as an admin, otherwise this command is not going to work out. Okay, what is this command? The first command is making us to change the directory to the directory of the self-hosted integration runtime, where we have installed self-hosted integration runtime on our laptop or desktop, right? So it can be different from what is shown here. This is the version of the Microsoft self-hosted integration runtime. It can be different as well. It can be 5.0 or it can be even lesser one. Okay, in my case it is 5.0. So just go to C drive program files Microsoft integration runtime and just see what is the version, or what is the executable version that you have downloaded from the internet, right? And then put shared. So this command will work like a charm if you know the version of the integration runtime. Second is, after you're done with change directory, you will have to run this command to enable local machine access. Okay. So I'm just going to run both of them, but just going to change this as 0. And then I'm going to run it here. So if you see here, the first command is done and the second command is also done. Okay, it's not going to take much time. It is just going to enable local machine access. All right. So with that, we are done from the desktop end, or the self-hosted integration runtime server end. So what we have to do from the data factory perspective is what I'm going to take you through now. All right. The moment we are done with integration runtime, the second step that we will be doing here is to create a link service, right? Here is where most of us find difficulty in knowing what to give in the server name or what to give in the user ID or password. Okay, so if you look closely, we'll have to change the integration runtime to the one that we have already created, pointing to the desktop or laptop. Host. Host is nothing but it should, the first part of it would be the server name or the machine name. How do you know it? Just go to your laptop and then type system information. If you type system information, you will be looking at the system information in detail, wherein you will see something called system name. Just note it down and then just copy paste it here, whatever you have found it on the system information, and then followed by that shared folder. For example, if my system name is my desktop or my server 123, this is my system information, system name property, and then here the folder that I've created is data. I'll just type like this. And then username is nothing but it is another property that we can find out. So in my case, I found my host name from the system information, system name property. And then for the username, again, I'll go to system information. In that, I'll just check in the username property. If you come little bit down in the same system information window, you will see something called username. Okay, I'll just copy the same value and then I'll put it over here. Okay, so whatever username that I found from the system information. All right. So um, here it can be anything that you are seeing from the system information, and password is the password that you are trying to use to log into your system information. This username is the one who has the access to the server you are trying to access. Okay, so that is one information, and password is the password related to the current username, whatever you have given, because same server can be accessed by multiple people, so every one of them will have their own passwords, right? So we have to map the passwords accordingly. Once you have given all the details properly and then click on test connection, it might work on the first go or else it might not work as well. Okay, it'll throw some error like it cannot find a path or it cannot find folder. In that case, you will have to revisit the host name given here. Okay, I'll just type the same valid information here and I'll just show you. So I'm just going a little bit above and then I'm copying this guy and then pasting it here. So this is the host name, and the shared folder name that I have given is data. So I'm giving data here, and then username is again similar to this, and then I'll just cross verify once by coming down. Right, so come down. Password is the password related to the username that we have given here, and then just type connection, click disconnection. So if everything is successful, we are good to go. Okay, otherwise if there is any issue with respect to the host name, just resolve it appropriately and give appropriate password. Okay, if you are using a pin as a password, you can try the same way and it should work as well. Okay, so that is all with respect to creating a link service. The moment we create a link service, we will be able to use the link service in a data set. Okay, that's what I'm going to show you now. We can click on author data set, new data set. New data set should be again pointing to file system based data set, and then I should choose the type of the file. Link service is the self-hosted integration runtime link service, right? So file path, it will just tell you whatever path you have configured in the link service. Okay, with whatever shared folder you created in the link service, it will come automatically. If there is no subdirectory, you can leave it, and then in your case, if the file name is data.txt, you can give here. Otherwise, you can browse as well. You will be able to choose the file name accordingly. So I'm just choosing it from here. Okay, and then first row as header, I'll just take it off and then I'll say no need to import schema, and then I'll say okay. So and then if you want to test the connection to the file that I mentioned, you can do it here. So once we are done with all test connection, once we are seeing it as successful, we can make use of the data set that is pointing to the on-prem server. So one such instance that I'm showing you here is the lookup activity, which is pointing to my delimited text one dataset, which in turn is pointing to my file server link service, and that is pointing to my integration runtime one, which is nothing but self-hosted integration runtime. All right. So if you look at the output of this lookup activity, then you will be seeing the data that I have in my text file. All right. So this is what I wanted to touch upon. So whoever is finding issue with establishing connection to the self-hosted integration runtime machine, just follow the steps and let me know if that worked for you. Thanks a lot for watching. Keep supporting as always.